Hello, welcome to another video of mine. And I've decided I wasn't actually going to make a video, but what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to take the Amiga out, and because the weather is so good at the moment, and with my job I always miss the later evenings, which sucks. So I wanted to blow off some steam, and I thought I'm going to take the car out for a spin because, you know, it's on the road, as everyone who's watched my videos knows. So what's the point in it sitting on the drive with the cover on it when I'm going to be taking it out? But then I decided, why don't I, if I can, kind of do like a review, which I haven't really done on this car. I don't know how well this is going to come out. And as I say, I wasn't really planning on doing it. You know, kind of like, why did I buy this car in the first place, and how much have I spent, and was it worth it, and what's the future, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll try and remember that. I'm not very good at this. So, but to start off, I guess I need to get some fuel, because why is it, I don't know, if do you guys have this issue, just every car you own is horrendous on fuel? Mine are, anyway. Maybe it's the right foot. That's like a pedal motion, not like a swan. I figured that looked like a swan then. Anyway, let's do this. Give it a go. Oh, I will just say, actually, that's something I'm just reminding myself. I'm going to be trying to get some audio of this car, true audio of this car, to try and like show and express what I'm hearing. I mean, you're not going to get it through the speakers, but I'm not sure when I'm going to put that in, maybe somewhere near the end of the video. So I guess you could just skip right to the end for that part. You don't want to listen to me waffling on. But yeah, don't miss out on that, because trust me on this, that's definitely something you're not going to want to miss. Because I do know when I make my videos, people watch like 30 seconds of them and then they just turn it off. So yeah, well, they just don't do that this time. Or if you do, just skip to the end. So yeah, why did I even buy an Amiga? And why this car? Because in a way, this car is a bit of a love story, really. Like, I know it sounds a bit weird to say that, but it is. And it goes back to me being a 13-year-old boy, and this is when I still lived with my mum, and we were living out, she worked at a boarding school where she was unable to take me to school because of her work, etc. And her work paid for a taxi service to take me to school. From my memory, it was at least a good year that this happened. It was a private taxi service, and there was two different drivers, and one of the drivers had two different Amigas. Whether they were his or not, I don't know. But you know, I'm just starting to learn more at this point of my life. I always obviously liked cars, but I'm learning more about engines and starting to get a grasp of engine configurations and stuff like that. Not anything crazy, but. And one was a Mark 1 Elite, a facelift Elite, and both of which were 3-litre V6s. One was manual, one was auto, and I always remember when he drove the auto, he used to rag it in first, second, fifth. That's literally how he drove it everywhere. And I always remember it had quite of a sort of a throaty noise to it, and I always used to, and obviously it felt quite quick, like, you know, I'm only 13, and he knew that I quite enjoyed it, and he would often, like, out of junctions, just literally just send it, and I used to love that. It was a great time period of my life, and that is where it all started. And then I always thought, but it was strange when we moved from that area where we were living, and then for some reason I forgot what the car was almost, and then a few years down the line I would remember, oh, it's an Amiga. Started looking into them, realised they're quite rare even back then, and of course used to see them as police cars, but that is where it all started. And I always said to myself, you know, when I'd be getting closer, 17, 18, like, oh, I really want one of those, and then obviously you'd find out it's a big V6, you know, and I'm not going to get insured on it and stuff like that. But when I actually looked into it, and I think I was 19, and turns out they were pretty cheap to insure, and I was like, oh, really? I can have a rear-wheel drive 3-litre V6 at 19, and the equivalent of that was at the time, for my what I could afford, was an E36 328, which were quite pricey, and also wanted an 850R, which were also quite pricey. Not what they are now, but these were dirt cheap. I mean, people giving these away, these have never been worth a lot of money, these cars, and it's never ever made any sense to me. And anyone who's owned an Amiga or been in one knows exactly what I mean. I know this is extreme, but I'll get to that. But it makes no sense. This is a far better road daily car than, for example, a 328 4-door. Not the coupe, but if you were running it as a daily, I would argue the Amiga's a far better saloon car, far better. And I mean, the Volvos are good as well as a road car, but I don't know, I still would tip towards the Amiga being the better car as a daily. And I have dailied this, and I used to daily an 850, my dad's. Wasn't mine, okay, it wasn't an R, but you know, it wouldn't have been that far off. Still a 2.55 cylinder. So yeah, and that's anyway, so that's what I did. I went out, I bought this car, and this car was actually from St Ives, and I used to live at a small village, I guess you'd call it. I don't even know if you'd call it a village. It's known as the Towns. It's in Cornwall, and it's right up on the beach. It's a very small population. It was a beach opposite St Ives, and I was living there in 2000, 2001. And this car is a 2000, and it was registered there. I bought it from St Ives, and that's crazy that I would not realise that the car I would end up buying was only a few miles away from me all those years prior. I say all those years, I mean, I suppose what would it be? Only 8 years later I would end up buying this car from that point. So, yeah, right, I'm at the fuel station now, so... Man, I've been banging on. I hope I have enough battery for this.
battery. Oh yeah, that was it. Buying the Amiga. So I've bought the Amiga. And I'm 19, 20, whatever I am. And I've got my 160 mile an hour car. And I know that because I did it. I mean, on unrestricted autobahn, of course, as always. As that would be irresponsible of me to do that on the UK public highway. So yes, and that was it. I bought the car from St Ives, and then I met a man with 7 wives. No, sorry, that's something else. But I did buy the car, and yeah, it was that was it. That was the love story. It started when I was 13. Can't see nothing. And then I bought it. It cemented everything I wanted. Really, I can't see anything. Even though I have a 900mm sun strip on my car with about this much vision to see out of. Apparently the sun is just level with the road. And then, yeah, ran it up until 2014. Oh, Jesus. And then I bought my second car, which I believe was my Clio 172. Oh man, that was a good car. No, I'm confusing myself. I've had quite a few cars. It might have been my 306 GTI, my first one I had. Anyway, I was running 2 cars, and this kind of took a back seat. It's not because I fell out of love with it, it's just that, you know, the costs and everything, and you know, this versus other cars I was using, this was, you know, my other cars were better on fuel, and anyway, everyone knows what it's like. You get a new car, you are into it. So yeah, I'm in standstill traffic. It's literally 10 to 8 at night. What is going on here? Really? I'm literally, I have maybe 30 minutes to get this video done. What's that? Is that a curb? Right, I have escaped that traffic by turning around and not sitting in it like a sheep. And yeah, I guess I gotta try and move this on a little bit. I worry that I'm boring people because I'm just mindlessly talking. I don't know why I care, but I do care because I want it to be a good. Maybe I just, it doesn't come naturally to me doing this. What can I think? What question can I ask myself? Whether it will start with this build and why I did it. And maybe I'm forgetting if I've already mentioned it in previous videos, but I'll just briefly say it. I did it ultimately because this car was facing being scrapped, and it had really bad rot on it, and I had it sorted, but I wanted to do something different. And yes, the recipe for this car was there, and I love being different. It's something that I have always felt like I need to be in my life. I don't like owning anything that someone else has, especially when it comes to cars, I try and keep my numbers as low as possible. I don't even know why. Even if it sacrifices owning something better than whatever it is I've bought, I don't really care, because I'm like, but someone else has got it. I don't want to see it on the road. You know, even as something as boring as my Vectra that everyone takes a piss out of me for owning, even that, but I'm like, but will you see another pre-facelift 3-litre V6 Isuzu diesel? No, you won't. And as I say, whether that's good or not is irrelevant. I can still wave that little flag of rarity. So anyway, getting back to the, you know, why I wanted to do this, I could have built a 328 or a 330. I don't really like 330s, E46s, but I do like 328 E36s, and better chassis. It is better. I wouldn't say it's, I still wouldn't say it's faster, you know, like straight line power, but that doesn't matter when you're building a car, especially if you're building it for the ring, the Nürburgring, which at the time I was very much into. So yeah, that's why I built this car, and it is a great car, and I have obviously done and had a lot of work done on it, a lot of fabrication, a lot of money spent on it. And I said I would say how much I've spent. I mean, this is in the ballpark. I don't actually know. I've never added it up. I've owned this car for 13 years, so it's very difficult for me. And where I've had waves of being into it and not into it so much, it's hard to keep track. I would say around, I don't know, 10,000, I would say. I would probably say that much. But that's over a long period. I mean, when I bought my Megane, which you could argue is a car that other people do have, and it's like a modern car and it's against what I like, Meganes are a special car. And again, if anyone's ever been in one of those, they know what I'm talking about. They're unreal to drive. It's that French thing again, that French hot hatch. You cannot beat the drive of a French hot hatch. I don't care what anyone would say in their Golfs or Leons or what other fast German stuff that would absolutely rinse my Megane. Doesn't matter. The drive of a Megane is second to none, in my opinion. But you know, I mean, I sank a lot of money into that. I mean, a lot of money. So I don't think this is really that bad. So I guess after saying the costs of this car and the reason of me building it, was it worth it? And do I have any regrets? I wouldn't say regrets. Do I miss what this car was when I used to use it as a daily? Yeah, actually I do. I actually do. But it's like two different worlds, because the people that were in my life and, you know, the jobs I had and what I was doing, I had a lot of different experiences with this car in that form, but then I've equally also had a lot of amazing experiences in this form with, you know, different points in my life. So I do miss what it was. I certainly miss it in the sense of like the jump in factor and just using it as a daily. I mean, it's too far gone. It simply can't go back. Fuck. regret building this car to this level. No. It's so unique. Yes, okay, I've ruined that whole maybe dynamic of having it outside and using it as a daily, and oh, excuse me, the roads. Wow, it's probably a lot to do with the fact the roads and this car is horrendously stiff. I like this village. I don't know what it is. I like that it's very community based. It's nice. Probably very expensive. I don't know why I'm mentioning this. You literally can't see what I'm talking about. But it's nice, okay? Just believe me. Right, before I get on to one of my favourite roads, actually where I did my first ever car review in the Mercedes. Terrible video. I mean, I'm a little bit more confident now in front of the camera, I must admit. No one likes that car. It's a really good car. No one likes it. As you will see, I'm going to stop talking now. I'll park up, and I'm just going to let the car do the talking. exist.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that part of the video, and whilst it's on my mind, I would actually argue that in person as well, and hopefully through the speakers, it doesn't sound like any other Amiga. It is utterly because of the custom tubular manifolds that were made, handmade by someone who retired many years ago. And again, it just solidifies the uniqueness of my car. Anyone who knows this car knows it is the sound. You can't get away from it. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed my take, my review on my car. Hopefully I said enough things, and again, this is really for the people that really like the Amiga. And hopefully some more videos coming along soon. Thanks for watching. See ya.